The latest 2023 zombie drama The Walking Dead, Daryl Dixon finally reached its season finale. After defeating the enhanced corrosive zombies, Daryl safely escorted Lauren to the Union of Hope's stronghold. Daryl's journey through the French zombies comes to an end. However, the open-ended conclusion leaves the audience in suspense. Faced with Lauren surrounded by zombies and a fishing boat ready for departure, what choice will Daryl make? We can only await the airing of the second season. The appearance of the war goddess Carol at the end and the second season's theme, the Book of Carol, along with glimpses of Isabel and Lauren in the trailer, suggests that the journey in France may not be over. Carol's appearance as the main character in Season 2 is the culmination of the spin-off's popularity. Without further ado, the storyline continues from the previous episode. Daryl, knife and axe in hand, prepares for a fierce battle with the enhanced zombies. As the bindings loosen, the zombie charges straight at Daryl. Undeterred, Daryl stabs the zombie with the pointed end, but the zombie merely twitches and rises again. Daryl then swings the axe at the zombie's legs, but it still manages to get up. Without hesitation, Daryl thrusts the knife into the zombie's chest, only to be surprised by a high concentration of strong sulfuric acid flowing from the wound, scalding Daryl. Janet on the stage was very happy to see this. Without his weapon, Daryl had no advantage, and zombies didn't want to give Daryl a chance to breathe. The zombies passed through the axe and attacked Daryl again. In the face of danger, Daryl remained calm. He looked at the nearby flag and swiftly ran towards it, seizing the opportunity as the zombies missed their attack. Daryl picked up the flag, executed a skillful backhand swing, sending the zombies flying. Following up, he directly thrust the flag into the vital area of the zombies. This combination of moves was nothing short of breathtakingly cool. This combo move leaves Janet fuming with anger. Janet's lungs were about to explode. She had wanted to make an example out of Daryl, but she didn't expect to let Daryl steal the show in front of the audience. Janet didn't stop there and ordered her men to bring Quinn in. The guards chained the hands of both individuals together and distribute weapons once again, believing that the rules dictate a one-on-one fight for survival. Daryl and Quinn exchange taunts, reaching a boiling point. Unexpectedly, the lights in the arena suddenly go out, and the low growls of zombies resound again. After a few seconds, a horrifying sight unfolds as multiple zombies appear in the arena. Realizing the severity of the situation, Daryl and Quinn swiftly adjust to ally status in the face of the imminent zombie threat. Next, they must collaborate and personally work together to kill the zombies. After zapping the potion, the zombies immediately went into a frenzy. However, an unexpected incident occurs shortly after. The doctor's experimental drug seems unstable, and the neck of one of the zombies suddenly swells. After 3 seconds, the zombie's head explodes. Janet becomes furious and glares angrily at the doctor. Although an accident has occurred, there are still 3 enhanced zombies in the field. The 2 of them stand prepared, ready to face the oncoming threat. Suddenly, another unexpected incident happens. A nearby zombie unexpectedly attacks their own kind. This zombie is attacking indiscriminately, and its fighting capability is strong. It tears open the head of another zombie with just one hand. The 4th zombie is also released and starts chasing Daryl and Quinn. The previous zombies also join the rampage. The battle between humans and zombies begins. Daryl chops off the leg of a yellow-shirt zombie with an axe, but the blue-shirt zombie lunges at him again. Quinn fiercely strikes the zombie's head in an attempt to help Daryl escape. The doctor has welded an iron helmet to the zombie's head, and no matter how hard Quinn tries, he can't smash it open. The yellow zombie with a broken leg ran over and attacked Quinn. The scene immediately descends into chaos. Fortunately, they have a seamless cooperation. Quinn first smashes the yellow-shirt zombie's head, but the blue-shirt zombie still charges at him. Quinn desperately struggles to break free. Daryl quickly uses a chain to restrain the zombie, and together they exert force, finally severing the zombie's head. The crowd at the scene erupts into enthusiastic applause, cheering for Daryl. Janet was furious. She was trying to win the crowd's confidence with this performance, but her plan was not working. Daryl picked up the heads of the zombies and threw them at the podium. This action was a slap in the face of Janet. Finally, Janet makes up his mind that he must kill Daryl on the spot, or else the situation will become even more uncontrollable. While her men were about to make a move, Falu, who was mixed up in the crowd, took care of him just in the nick of time. Gunshots ring out, and the scene becomes even more chaotic. Not knowing the exact number of their opponents, Janet's henchmen can only protect Janet and make their escape. Daryl and Quinn took advantage of the opportunity to slip away. However, an unexpected incident occurred along the way. Daryl discovered that zombies had injured Quinn's back. At this moment, Quinn didn't struggle much and quickly accepted the reality. He began reflecting on his actions. From the early days of the apocalypse when he considered abandoning the Isabel sisters to the present where Laurent and Isabel were captured, Quinn felt immense guilt. Daryl, being decisive, wanted Quinn to buy them some time. The only way to break the chains is to cut off Quinn's hand, and Quinn doesn't refuse, even interpreting it as martyrdom. So Daryl cut off Quinn's hand, allowing Daryl to escape. The guards nearby rushed in upon hearing the commotion. Quinn quickly went to confront them, successfully buying Daryl the time he needed. Quinn proved to be a devoted and respectable person in love. Daryl successfully escaped the underground, reuniting with Fallu and others minutes later. However, Isabel and Laurent were still inside. After removing the chains, Daryl had to return to rescue them. When he found them, a metal gate blocked the passage. Trying to open it together, they didn't expect Quinn to appear in the corridor. At this point, Quinn had turned into a zombie. In self-defense, Isabel picks up a metal bar and pummels Quinn in the head, but Quinn remains aggressive. The enhanced zombies created by the doctor were indeed extraordinary. Isabel was overpowered and pinned to the wall by Quinn. Daryl couldn't save her, so he handed the axe to Laurent. This situation was challenging for Laurent, who had been afraid to kill even a fish before, and now he had to face his zombified father. In the end, Laurent managed to do it. With a swift axe blow, he resolved the crisis. After escaping, they regrouped. They had to leave Paris as soon as possible. On the way, Isabel wanted to thank Laurent for saving her life, but he seemed unaffected by the incident. As they continued their journey, the car suddenly broke down. Daryl had to stop and make repairs. Taking advantage of the opportunity, Isabel and Daryl had a lengthy conversation. Daryl also shared Quinn's last words. It seems that Quinn's words and actions before his death had gained Daryl's approval, which is why Daryl spoke so highly of him. Isabel also took the opportunity to say a lot of things from her heart, but then Isabel stopped talking. It wasn't until Daryl emerged from beneath the car that he realized they were surrounded by Caudron and his men. They had no chance of escape. Even Daryl had to plead for mercy. Janet gave the order that they weren't to leave anyone alive. The soldier stabbed Isabel and the soldiers urged Caudron to continue the execution. Just as the atmosphere reached a climax, something unexpected happened, and several of the henchmen instantly collapsed to the ground. Caudron, seemingly out of the blue, betrayed his own ranks. This left them all stunned. Why would Caudron, who held a grudge against them, spare their lives? It was not until later that they realized that it was not Janet's man who influenced Caudron, but the monk Losong. Caudron had deduced that Laurent was the Messiah Losong spoke of. At this moment, religious faith prevailed over vengeance for Caudron, leading him to pass up this opportunity for retribution. Caudron provided Daryl with the route to their headquarters and even advised them to burn the truck to evade Janet's pursuit. After completing these tasks, they proceeded on foot. The next day, after overcoming various challenges, they finally reached the Union of Hope's headquarters at Mont Saint-Michel. Upon entering the base, they received a warm welcome from the believers. Laurent's arrival served as a great inspiration to them. Lo Song, the leader of the Union of Hope, guided them through the facilities. After resting for a few days, Isabel's back injury gradually improved. As soon as she stepped outside, she saw Daryl training young individuals in weapon use. At this point, Janet doesn't know the exact location of the base and they need to arm themselves as soon as possible. Laurent, playing football, was delighted to see Isabel. He quickly approached and embraced her. Everything looks so beautiful here. During their time living together in the headquarters, Daryl proved to be a valuable helper. Isabel grew increasingly fond of him, to the point where she even voluntarily asked Daryl to help her wipe her back. After a conversation, Isabel tentatively inquired whether Daryl could stay. She had developed feelings for him. However, Daryl hesitated, recalling the unfortunate fate of his previous girlfriends. Afraid of getting too deeply involved, Daryl was determined to leave. Daryl was determined to go, and Losong didn't force him to stay. Losong told Daryl that he could walk to the northern coast, where there were dolphins fishing boats that could take them to England and then transfer to a ship to reach Newfoundland. Seizing this opportunity, Losong formally requested Daryl to stay. Due to the Union of Hope's weak military strength, Losong hoped for a strong leader to guide them. In the end, Daryl still declined. Losong wasn't disappointed. He believed in destiny. On the other side, Caudron returned alone to confront Janet, fabricating a reason to try to cover up his actions. However, the shrewd Janet immediately saw through Caudron's lies. Witnessing the exposure, Caudron admitted to his betrayal. Janet was disappointed, but she didn't want to forgive Caudron. She wanted to know the exact location of the lair. Caudron shook his head straight away. Helpless, Janet had no choice but to let Cadron away. Finally, the time came for departure. Daryl packed his belongings, preparing to leave. Isabel approached him to bid farewell. Initially, Daryl intended to leave without a word, but Isabel sought to convince him through Lauren. Her heartfelt words struck a chord with Daryl. After a long silence, he entered Lauren's room. Looking at him sleeping, Daryl eventually left a Rubik's Cube, a silent farewell. And so, Daryl departed from the Union of Hope. Upon a final glance at the scenery, he embarked on his journey home. Daryl, who arrived alone, left alone, his solitary figure appearing exceptionally lonely. As Daryl walked, he arrived at the coastline, where an American soldier's graveyard lay, mostly containing the remains of U.S. soldiers from the Normandy landings. Upon entering the graveyard, the usually composed Daryl suddenly became agitated. Finally, he stopped in front of a gravestone, his grandfather's resting place. Daryl had tears in his eyes. Despite his tough exterior, his inner emotions were unusually delicate. Family meant a lot to him, even across almost a century. At this time, the boat to pick him up also appeared. Daryl step by step 3 times back reluctantly left the place. He began shouting and waving his hands. The boat responded, but the commotion attracted the attention of zombies. The horde swiftly approached, but that didn't deter Daryl. He fought his way through, single-handedly carving a path of blood. Just as Daryl was about to board the ship, Lauren's voice reached him, looking at Lauren behind him and the fishing boat waiting in front of him. What should Daryl do? It seems impossible to leave on his own. He can either turn around and go back, or he can take Lauren with him. This suspenseful moment would have to wait for the next season's broadcast. On the other side in Maine, Ryder was joyriding on Daryl's motorcycle. A fast car approached, and Ryder, sensing trouble, accelerated. After pulling away, Ryder quickly grabbed his shotgun and fired off a shot. The person in the car turned out to be Carol, who was looking for traces of Daryl. Carol asked Ryder how he got his motorbike, but Ryder wasn't honest and even had thoughts about Carol. Helpless, Carol had to resort to physical force. Ryder revealed the location of the gas station where Daryl had once stayed. With that, Carol sets off on her motorbike to find Daryl.